Okay, then let us commence. Cameras rolling.
Yes.
Action.
Okay, Adam, going down. Let's see.
Hello again.
We just need to remind you that since this is undergoing our coordinated seeker review, any determinations we make won't be final until the lead agency finishes its work. And you still have to have this approved by zoning board too. So anything that we would look at tonight, any decisions that we would make would be dependent upon those final.
All right, just a question. So essentially, we can't vote on anything until...
We can vote on it, but it would have to be contingent upon the decision of the ZBA and the lead agency. And we can approve a design, but
We can't
the
issue,
process wouldn't be
we can't
final.
issue a certificate
Right.
until everybody's finished.
And we have to decide, we have to vote on lead agency, right?
We already did.
Oh.
Oh, lead agency, yes. But we can do
Okay.
that, do we need to do that now, or can we do it at the end under board business?
Well, I got a question. Does anybody have any objection to the planning board in the lead agency?
No.
Or should, well, I see that,
There's a resolution that needs to be read into the record.
okay, well, the thing is that also calls for a roll call vote. Yeah. So, let's hold off on that until she gets here. Okay, so,
Okay, so for our purposes, there's nothing new in the plan, but I was asked to bring some additional supplemental information, including an elevation, showing the cedar post and slats, including a base that's sitting on a footing that is CMU for the structure that the post will sit on, and that's wrapped in a stone that will match stone that's existing on the site. When we took out the pool this past summer, we put back where the pool was, we put back some patio that had a little recess. The interior wall of that, as you can see in some of these photos, as you can see in some of the photos, the stone that we used for the interior wall of that recess is the same stone that we'll use for the 18-inch pillar that would kind of match the stonework that was put in as we were replacing the paint. I also brought some additional images of, again, the view from the street. So this being from Main Street, and the plantings being, a relative idea of what we're planning to have there. Here from Depot Square, obviously more visible from Depot Square. And then I have a third. A third right from the corner. Kind of in between the first two shots.
what were the things that we approved last time?
The fence.
Everything but.
Everything but the pergola.
Yeah, the original application was for a stone veneer for the garage, which we just nixed in the first meeting.
Right.
The other elements of it were this pergola and the fence.
I need to go back to the fence, but is there any railing that goes up next to these stairs?
I believe they're gonna return along the stairs to the first step.
What's going to return along the stairs to the first step?
Railing.
Right here. That one?
This comes around like this.
Yeah, it comes back like that.
I'll have to check on that, but I believe the plan was that there would be a return.
Yeah, I think if they can exceed a certain height distance, they have to go around. All right, anybody have any questions?
So right now, is this the wall, I'm just curious, because you can never see back there with the old fence. Is this,
Right.
this is the wall that, I
This
mean,
was
this was the
something-
pool? Or you all did this work already?
Yeah, we as we took out the pool, we created, we had to put something back, so in terms of
Yeah.
patio that was put there, I guess an effort to improve some drainage on the site, we used some of the material, there was a concrete patio there that we used partially to fill the pool,
Mhm.
and then we kept the recess there, knowing that we were gonna take this big stockade fence down in a way to provide a little additional privacy.
Yeah.
We're putting up a much more permeable fence, and so by dropping the people that are
Grade
in
a
there
little.
down another 18 inches, just creating a little bit of a courtyard feel and a little bit more privacy for the street.
Do we have a folder that shows the plan?
I should've brought
Unless
it.
Michael has been super efficient
Nothing on
and
the plans
filed
have
it.
changed.
Yeah.
Have you been super efficient and filed it? I'll get it backwards, hang on. Have you filed 2 Depot already?
I don't believe, only what was in the to be filed, which it shouldn't have been, but I can go pull it out if it's not in the,
It's either in the folder already or it's in your
In my
traveling
travel.
set.
I don't think I have it.
This is what-
I remember. Because what I said was withdrawn, so all the previous drawings that included,
Of the pergola?
yeah, because we approved everything else, and
Right.
so I said to be resubmitted or to be filed.
So do you have it?
No, because one part of it was part of the.
Because it's in with
the
this, so he should
approval.
Michael will find it when he is back there then.
Okay.
Because you already issued the C of A, right?
For the others.
I don't have any concern with the design myself. I actually think it sort of bridges the gulf between the street and this house. It's ended up, all of these additions. There's the pool.
Thank you, Michael.
you're welcome.
All of the additions on the house have set it apart from the street in this sort of strange way. And now taking down that large stockade fence leaves a gap. And this sort of feels like an intermediary space between the street and,
I think the height
It's much
will
mono
be,
in
will achieve what you're talking, but it being that step down from the
yeah,
kind of tower.
I feel like people will be able to sit in there and not feel like, not feel like they're exposed to the street as much.
Does anybody want to see, here's the plan of where the pergola is. Here's some details on the pergola, everything you would ever want to know about a pergola, but we're afraid to ask. All right, so. And again, we can vote, but we can't issue any certificate until everybody's finished. So do I have a motion to accept the application as submitted?
Pending variances from the ZBA and final review by the lead agency, so moved.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, once the planning board and zoning board are finished, we'll go ahead and issue.
The site plan is being sent to the planning board for final approval after ZBA, or that's a separate?
Yeah, it's more than site plan, because they're needing parking variances and change of use, I think.
Right.
There are several issues before the ZBA.
Right, in terms of.
And then several before the
things that are
planning
happening
board.
in the house.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone here from One Depot Square tonight? No. Okay, so, the building inspector informed the property owner at 1 Depot Square that they would need to come back. I think Carolyn and Andrea may have been traveling when this application happened, so there is to be a wall, sort of it's higher than a knee wall, it's a counter, sort of, along the bar area, the exterior dining area at the Depot Restaurant. We approved it, but we're willing to approve the proposed material. It's a not a laminate, but sorry, I'm having a hard time with nouns this
It's a
evening.
stone veneer.
It's a stone veneer, you know, it's a
Oh,
thick veneer.
it's
It's
a
a
real
real
stone.
stone veneer.
Okay.
So we were willing to approve that because the wall was not going to be attached to the primary building. And we were very specific about that because it would not be impacting the historic fabric. When it was being installed, rather than asking the applicant to drop a footer, Bill had him connect it to the building. So we asked them to come back and talk about that and see what we can do to undo that situation so it's not attached to the building. So he was informed that he needed to come in, but he is not here, so we'll have to move that to next time.
Okay. 17 Parsonage.
By the way, on 1 Depot Square, did you also approve the bar itself?
The bar's been there. Hello, good to see you again. They returned victorious.
Yeah. Okay, so here are your copies. We also have the large plans.
Before you launch, you have to make a seeker finding. Seeker is the State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Yes, this, do I have a recommendation as far as the secret status of the secret type?
I defer to Carolyn on this one because of the size of that. I mean, it is a residential use.
It is a residential use. I suggest that this be considered a type 2 secret, which is exempt from further review, because it is an alteration of an existing structure.
Do I have a second?
Second? I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
So now, what that means is that you don't go through the longer process of an environmental assessment. So you're good now.
Okay.
That's sort of part of process that we have to go through under state law. So now you can launch.
Okay.
Excuse, before you launch, sorry, who seconded? Thank you.
So we have the existing and the proposed. So here's the larger proposed. So as I wrote in that email, the last email, we found a solution where we don't have to raise the front. So the only thing that will be different when you're looking at the house is that we will have 2 smaller windows to keep that cottage look, and they'll be the same width, just shorter in height. We are going to remove the current metal railings. I think we had, I have brought it.
Oh, I have.
I brought another copy too.
There we go. Sorry about that. Oh no, the pictures went home with you last time. Here's the referral.
So just, okay. See here, we are going to remove this overhang,
Great.
the metal over here, obviously leave the cement there. We will remove the shutters. We're doing the wood clad windows with grills. I'll show you another picture. Doing white trim around, the half aluminum gutters. Oh, excuse me, the steel, but the half moon. We're doing the cedar siding. And you'll see here that we will be repairing and restoring this brick. On one side of the house, the siding will go down, I guess as close as it can without touching the cement, just because of.
It's graded, like it's a slope.
So there's not too much we can do about that. in the back, we will be removing this overhang as well, but we are gonna keep the stone wall. So we're not changing the footprint of the house, so we're not extending out back. This is just, you know, an example of the window. We're gonna do black, and then
What is the material for the, this is called window casing. What's the material?
It's gonna be either pine, finger jointed, or like cedar. But preferably
have-
cedar because more durable.
Yeah, it'll match
Yeah.
the siding.
Yeah.
And
So you're looking at, these look like
Actually,
4/4
you can get a
windows?
sample.
yep, I have samples.
Not of the trim, because you didn't have them in stock, but we have the siding sample.
I'll show you too the exact grills that we're planning on doing. So we can run through these, you guys. So this is accurate.
Just the shingles.
Thanks.
Did you all meet each other last time?
No,
Oh,
I
sorry.
wasn't here, but I've seen the emails flying back and
This is
forth,
Andrea
so
Connor.
And I'm
thank you.
Marissa.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And Mark.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Thanks.
Oh, this is a complicated one.
So are you talking about, when you say grills, do you mean things that snap in?
No,
or-
no, it's
They're in
Anderson
here.
400.
Oh, so they're,
Yeah.
that's a simulated divided light?
Yes.
So it's got a grill on each side of the glass?
Yes.
Great. So you were able to do this by coming, it's the way you came off the ridge, and you ended up not going as high on the ridge as I thought you would either, here.
This is not completely exact, this one. This is exact, the proposed one. This is just a rendition, but it's not completely exact.
Okay, so it is closer to the peak.
Yeah, but it doesn't elevate above the peak.
Right. Well, and that's not inconsistent with others that have additions around the neighborhood and around the village. Can I see the picture again of the window, the front of the house now? And by the way, just to remind you, we don't have any purview over color, so as much as we hope you don't do your windows purple, you could.
Yes, it would.
Just out of curiosity.
The photograph. Oh,
It
yeah,
shows
yeah.
2 windows which are casement as opposed to double.
Yeah, just because of egress.
Egress.
Yes, it's bedrooms, so
Right.
it should seem to be
On the second
giant,
floor.
yeah.
Which of the two that you're talking about? Oh. Let me look at this one.
That one, that one, or egress windows.
North and south. Oh, I see here.
And actually, the grills are more consistent here. These are the real grills, so we added like another one to be more consistent with the size of the square. This, I think it's just got 2 over there on the egresses. So
Oh,
it looks
right.
like it's,
Yep, I see.
this one has another one on the gable side, and on the south, on the north side.
So you've got a mix of 2/2s and 4/4s, but it looks like the 2/2s are all on the addition.
No, no, because they're on the 2 new windows on the second floor in the front elevation and on the rear elevation,
Oh, right.
and on the south side elevation,
Yep.
and on the north side elevation.
Well, no, but those are the addition.
Kitchen?
That's not accurate though, in the back, the bay, they're actually all gonna have grills.
Like this
There's gonna be
They're going to be
4
like this.
casement
Yes,
that
that's
open in
correct.
the back with
Very
grills.
close to this.
So other than, oh, there is none on the lower floor.
This window doesn't
On the
change,
north.
just get replaced by a Anderson 400.
Right, that's what I'm saying, there aren't any first floor windows there.
On the north side, there's one, right?
Oh, there is, yeah, there is, and it's being closed in. use the existing.
Yeah, that was gonna be the,
The north side is the upslope side.
The north side is very, very close to the property line, and there's a
Mhm.
driveway next door.
Right, right. And it's also it's a pretty dramatic rise there between the two houses, right? And is anything changing about, the chimney is, we talked last time about the potential for the chimney to have to come higher off once you raise the roof. What's happening with that?
not been addressed yet. That's
Okay,
the-
so that may still, but it is it's not block, it's brick, right?
It's brick. It's, we hope not having to plaster everything.
Well, let me see. Right.
Do you have the previous drawing in the folder? Too? It's got my handwriting on it to the side under by your glass case. It says 17. Just as a comparison. Do you mind if I lay this over the existing? Yeah, that makes such a difference in terms of height. How are we ending up with?
Understand where it's you know what, I dropped this one last Friday, is that, I think this isn't the original.
This is the shorter.
This is
wait a
short,
minute.
this is
No,
up
this
to
is
date.
September 9th. No, that must have gone home with you last time too. The original one. It's okay.
Right, any questions? I guess the first question I have is that, how does the board feel about whether or not this needs to go to a public hearing?
I don't think so, because we're really not changing the mass very much at all. The change in the height of the roof is probably what, the roof of back is probably what, around 3 inches, 2 inches.
I think it's actually 11 inches,
Yeah,
but
it's-
it doesn't.
It's not even a foot, right. And then everything else is just changing windows.
Well, and clapboard. I don't think, given the fact that they're staying mostly within the envelope now, I
Yeah.
don't think so
I
either.
don't feel that.
How do you feel about that?
I was just gonna, so I'm just really confirming some, so the height of, pitch of the roof, or elevation. So the height of this roof here hasn't changed.
Is not changing now. Originally, it was proposed to come up 17 inches or something.
Originally 30.
30 inches, quite a
Okay.
lot.
It was-
And the
went
they
down
were going to
pretty
be
fast.
full height windows, and it was ending up looking
Okay.
like a very federal building.
Okay,
It was
I
much
think
taller.
I saw this
So we sent them back
change.
to the drawing board to try to stay
Right.
more within the envelope. And so
Yeah.
you came off,
what's-
you achieved your height back on the
Mhm.
rear as opposed to,
Yeah, I don't see huge shift in mass and scales from the start.
well, in Cold Spring, but I don't think it rises to the level.
No.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry, I'm late.
No
That's
worries.
All right, so then, am I correct that the consensus is, because I have to agree on that, I think that the changes don't rise to the level where it requires a public hearing. Am I correct? Let me take a vote just in case. So, do I have a motion as to go to a public hearing? Okay, I don't have a motion, so therefore, we are not going to a public hearing.
So that shows some time.
Unless Sean wants to
Yeah.
make that motion.
I don't see any reason why.
Well, this
So-
side, the
The
rear.
footprint's all staying the same.
The footprint's all staying the same. This,
Yeah.
here's the rear.
Yeah.
This is,
Okay. This
it
is
goes
the way
back
that
into the
changes,
Parrot
right?
Street block.
This is the back.
So it's not visible from a
Back.
public right of way.
Okay.
This is the driveway side, and there are already, if you can pull the pictures on
Well, this is
Yeah, but the
inside.
windows aren't really, I mean, you're.
Yeah, there's
into
not,
it.
you're not
It's
adding
like-
an additional, it's
Yeah.
a.
We're not touching those, actually.
It's a sash change. Well, you are, you're putting,
No, this is actually.
Oh, this is on the side, this is on the south side?
This one, actually, the
There's
grills on this one, this one is accurate.
These four here, right now
The
there's a
grills
little
on this is not
side
accurate.
mudroom.
So this is staying untouched.
We're not
This
touching
one is
this.
changing.
so can you, if I give you a red pen,
Mm-hmm.
can you, because now I'm getting, oh, there's, he's not. For what's,
Oh, so
what,
you're
which
not
windows are
putting the grills
changing
in
and
here?
which are
No,
not?
this one is just, it's an enclosed porch, it's not a
No, I know
finished
it is.
space.
I walked around the
Except
building.
these.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that,
mark
but, so
them
you're not
somehow,
changing the
sure.
windows here?
Not yet, eventually, hopefully, but now
We're
we're
gonna
not touching it.
paint
We're just
one
reciting and
or
re.
what?
Mhm.
These windows to
Yeah, but
match
if-
black, but
you know,
we're gonna
you
leave
can get
them
this
right
approved
now.
now,
Eventually
even though
we'll
you
find
might
like
do it.
Oh,
windows
okay, well.
match.
Okay.
Sorry, this is a good point.
I was only thinking in terms of a public hearing, like if you had a neighbor right up against your house and you add windows, they might.
Right, but they're,
But
they're
that's
existing
not-
This
windows.
is the
That's not the
driveway, the
situation.
9-foot driveway, there's a
Okay.
bunch of trees there, it's very wooded on that side of the.
Well, and you already have windows.
Well, the north side elevation does not, actually reduces the number of windows, which is the closer to the adjacent property.
Right, the upslope side.
I only have a few questions. The trim at the corners of the buildings.
Cedar corner.
Okay, and what's the dimension of that?
It would
Because
be.
there is a slight
Says over
trim here.
We're
Place around.
talking about between 4.5 and 5.5 width.
So that would be.
It's gonna be 5/4.
Okay.
And essentially, you're gonna replace them to match what's existing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and they're not exactly all the same, actually. If you look in the back, they're a little narrower, and in the front, they're a little wider, and sometimes they're not the corner, one is wider than the other one, for some reason. So it's just that, and that we're just gonna
Just the
standardize
outline.
on it.
The only other
Yes.
question I had,
So it's the same distance in either direction.
Okay.
If you have a corner, one board's gotta be a little bit longer than the other, so that this distance or that dimension matches that dimension.
Thank you.
the only other question I had to do with the second floor window on the north side elevation of the original part of the building. On the existing has it centered and you have
Oh, yes.
moved it over. Is there a reason for that?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Here, this window here now is centered in that.
It's actually not centered. This is what he did. It's actually, this is accurate now. I told him after this existing.
Oh,
is
that's
not-
right. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, it's
It's
there.
on the
Okay.
side, yeah.
Okay, so that window's, it's in the same place.
And just so you know, there's a staircase inside, so it's gonna be like a sky, not a skylight, but a natural light entrance for the staircase, and that also for the first floor, so.
Yeah, I was peering into the windows and the strange little things like that first floor bathroom.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
She won't do that after you move in.
No, I won't. No,
We don't
I
creep
knew the
anybody
house
out,
was not
Carolyn.
inhabited, and they hadn't closed on it yet, so.
That's our story we're sticking to.
And on the south side, is it the same thing? These windows are, is it the casework that's making them more aligned, or?
No, well, we're just gonna make sure they are aligned. This one is a little off, for some reason, a few inches, but we're gonna, make them symmetrical here. And the top one is a casement egress, and the bottom one is a double hung.
Oh, I see.
So it sounds like we need a.
This is the existing, right?
Yeah, that's
Right.
reflected in the drawing.
We
Okay.
need a final set of drawings.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, I don't feel quite comfortable voting on things because there are a lot of things that need to be corrected on the drawings. I'll go around the table as far as people's comments, but my feeling is that I don't have any objections to what we're doing. And so, Kathleen?
Well, I first want to say thank you for going back to your architect and working really hard to respect the mass and scale of the building. So that's great work. Things that I wonder about are gutters and leaders, where they're going to be placed and where they're going to come down. So if those could be shown on the next set of drawings, that would be great. And there still is I guess we need to confirm what's happening with the chimney based on the conversation of last time, whether the chimney is needing to go higher or not. I don't see a big deal. I'm not concerned about it if it does, but we need to make sure that's reflected in the drawing. The only thing that gives me any pause is, and I'm not sure that it's worth pausing over, is the 2/2 and 4/4 on the primary facade. That they are shorter windows, so it may look strange to try to do more muntins there anyway.
We've
I guess I'm-
actually been going back
and
and forth on that.
Well, I don't know, I'm sort of
For the
throwing
same
that out to
reason?
see what other people think. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I can see arguments for it going both ways, so I'd be interested to know what other people think about the muntin configuration on the main facade. Doesn't bother me as much on the sides.
I think it's fine as proposed,
Okay.
because it's a smaller window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you be proposing, 1/1?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
My
think
first thought was, well, it should have the same, we should be looking at the same, but they're too small and it would look too busy, I think. So, never mind.
I
I'm gonna
think
draw.
too, this is also, in this configuration, it actually exaggerates that the upper windows are smaller, which is what
All
we
too
want to
true,
achieve.
which is what we were trying to achieve. Yeah, that's a good
Because
point.
we want it to look like the
We wanted it.
windows are historic.
We wanted that foreshortening.
Not that we encourage faux historicism, but it would make more sense that, I just think we want that difference to be clear.
On the other hand, when you strip off the existing siding, you don't know what, there might have been windows there.
Um,
That's true.
The only other thing that strikes me looking at it is, I'm wondering if the corner boards, well, you were saying that they're going to be wider than they're drawn. Maybe when the final drawings come in, it'll feel more heft. I think the other thing that will sort of anchor this building down is a heavier corner board.
So you're favoring them?
Your favorite?
Yeah,
This
given the
is-
age of the house.
Mark this is what we were thinking.
Oh, okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
What you're
But it would
thinking
be
size-wise?
like clear cedar, to be consistent, and it would be like standard.
Yeah, that
And
would make a
particularly
big
with the
difference.
heftier,
Mhm.
with the wider reveal collaborative,
I like your choice of clapper. That is typical of what we see. It's
Thank
like
you.
I lived in a house that was just like this on Garden Street, and we had 3/3 windows upstairs. That were really drafty, but even though that's typical, and then there's another house in Nelsonville that has those little eyebrow windows. So you see them around still, but
There's a lot in Nelsonville.
there's a lot of them, yeah. And-
There's one actually down the street, on Thompson, which closer to Bank Street, that has the frieze windows. There's also one right on Main Street in Nelsonville, opposite Division. It's either opposite Division or
Orange.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's also Center Hall, which look for these things all over the village, and everything I found of roughly this era that might have had this configuration was all of them were side halls, but finding one that was a center hall was a job.
But I think it's just, I think that they balance nicely, and as it's been said, they kind of condense the size.
What's happening with this door?
As of now, nothing.
We're gonna keep it.
Because I was looking on the elevations and I don't see it there. Probably should be right there.
And we're
So
also.
you guys worried about the back as well, or?
No.
Well, but the thing is where is the street? I mean, you're gonna see that because that's part of this. It's actually a side door to this.
Oh, this is not visible from the
No,
street.
no,
It's
no.
very
That
wooded.
door,
The door's all the way back and facing
that
Fairway.
that door faces
Okay.
That
well,
door is actually, you know where it is here?
Well, it's just about the
This
accuracy
is
of the
going on
drawings.
because they don't have that, so
All right.
it's here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's on the back, you don't see it.
But I mean,
Okay, but
the
it
drawing should still be
drawn-
accurate.
should
Yeah.
reflect it.
Yeah, no, because then should, that little shed addition should be reflected here too.
We're also keeping the front door. We're gonna, the front door that's on the property now. We will paint it or restain it, but we're gonna remove the storm door and just keep the wooden door with the glass and keep a little bit of character with that, so.
Happy to go. I'm sorry. Oh, that's a 20s door, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Something like fast moving.
I'd forgotten that was from then. Yeah.
Are the gutters?
So your drawing then, if you're wanting to retain the door that's there, your drawings should reflect that, because this is a different door.
I mean, we're
How
not
about-
changing it.
But your drawing should reflect it. So what happens is, after we mark everything up and we've come to agreement on what you're doing, Al issues a certificate of appropriateness and a whole packet goes to the building inspector. And he stands, when you're done, he'll stand at your property with the drawing and he'll say, wait a minute, that's a different door. So we want to make sure that
Just
your
needs to
drawings
be
reflect what you're
consistent,
keeping.
Because it's the only
Something to
way that we
compare,
communicate
right.
with the building
Makes sense.
inspector, so the drawings should reflect. Maybe the thing to do is, this markup,
One of them, yeah.
what needs to be. Okay, so one is,
You're looking at existing and proposed.
okay. One is show gutters. Okay, on the existing show removals. In other words, for example, you have this. Um, verify chimney height. This needs to be raised because of, portion of the back of the trees. Okay, so there should be
No.
this with the door here. So if you're gonna keep it, then, just show it. It should be correct. Oops.
We haven't done that yet.
To draw that in as well, because these.
Oh, the corner?
Corner.
Yeah, well, you should submit this, because this sort of covers a lot of the small different things, but the drawing needs to be, reflect what we're actually doing.
Because right now it looks like the window trim and the corner trim are the same dimension.
Okay.
And are you taking down, I'm just thinking about how the new siding will relate to your new windows. So when siding got laid over, well, these aren't the original windows, but you see how there's no depth? There's no change of depth between the window trim and the siding. You want to make sure that the siding sits sort of back a bit.
So
that
they protrude the
Right, so the
trim
windows aren't,
protrude
so it's
out.
not lapping up against the window trim.
This is 5/4, so, and this is 3/4, so it should droop at least.
Are you taking off, you're taking off the, it's aluminum, right? I can't remember.
What?
You're taking off what's there, but
Yes.
what's underneath it?
It might be asbestos shingle, I'm not sure,
I can't remember either.
It's
Underneath there?
Mhm.
No, the
No, this
siding
is cedar. This is cedar shingles there.
Oh, it's shingles.
Yeah.
So my question is, are you taking down, this is probably a couple layers beyond what was the original
Mhm.
siding. So are you taking it all the way down and then putting your new insulation and
It's gonna be
siding?
determined at the time of removal, I suppose. You don't know that yet.
Because you may, I don't, who knows what you find, you may, a couple of folks recently have been taking off siding and realizing it was just slapped on top and what was underneath was in pretty decent shape. So if you get to that point and you decide you wanna stop and restore what's there, you'll come back to us and we'll talk about it then. You know, there's probably gonna be modifications up here where the windows had been. So it's probably what's there is probably damaged or infilled. But what I'm driving at is when you do put your new siding on, you'll wanna make sure that the ratio, if I can, someone's saying this more intelligent than I am tonight, more the ratio between your siding and your trim on the windows,
That the
that the reveal stands out for the window.
That the trim is
The trim's
proud
up and
of
out.
the, yeah.
Okay. Trim is proud, that's what I was trying to say, that it wasn't coming out.
Now, how do you guys feel about this same width of window trim, just to frame even better the window?
I think it's pretty wide for a window.
It's pretty wide for a window, yeah, probably 3.
So 3.5.
And again, we'd have to see it in the drawing, because it's just too difficult to visualize how things will balance out.
3.5, 4.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think it's usually 4 inches on window trim.
Depends.
Okay, the other thing
Look at your carpenter.
on the proposed elevations, if you could show the outline of what was there originally, just in the dashed line like this. It makes it a little bit easier to understand exactly the change that is occurring. You know, for example, this is actually, it's more like that, so it's clear that what you're doing is you're raising this portion.
Okay.
It just, so that, you know, again, it's a question of communication. Okay, do we have anything else that we want to?
Do you wanna look at the roof? We don't need to know color, just. This is, we're,
Asphalt shingle.
that's what's there, yeah, it's just a regular shingle. Are you doing an architectural shingle, or these are sort of the flat rectangles? The architectural ones sort of lap over each other.
That's what they're.
Anything else that we
No,
want
yeah.
for them to know?
Not that I can think of.
Are you adding any exterior lights?
Just the two fronts. There's one sconce. If you look at the house on the right, you should add another one to frame it.
Oh,
You have a picture, we have a couple of examples.
Options in there, as opposed to those flat.
yeah.
Something like this.
Maybe we're leaning a little bit towards. Anybody have?
They're all handsome and utilitarian. I would lean away, as a personal preference, I would lean more toward the two on the left and away from the one on the right.
Yeah.
Because they're more simple in keeping with the worker housing.
That looks more.
And it
geared
more-
towards mission.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mm.
Great.
Okay.
I think you have one of the house on Main Street, the new house that's on the corner, it's like on the corner of High Street and Main.
Yeah.
That's
So-
where we
Yeah,
took
that's
it out.
another one, that's a
Actually,
actually
That's a good
where we
example.
live right now, so we were just like, oh, well, we'll just.
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah, so.
So you're familiar
It's
with
the
these.
exact gutters,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is what we're
Oh.
gonna be using, so,
Okay.
they put those on this year, so they're fresh.
Yeah, these are 4 over, okay.
So last time I mistakenly said that Sean was a neighbor, but you actually are. Andrew lives on High Street.
I live on High Street.
Okay.
You live on High Street?
Yeah.
Which one?
We're in
You on High Street?
Greenhouse,
No,
across, we're
I'm
right
on-
across from the
across
Spots Park.
the other
But
side
I
of the
can still
park.
see his house too, so.
Yeah. I'm on
Yeah.
Florida.
And the other,
Oh, the foundation, noting what's happening with the foundation.
well,
You said you're exposing
they
brick.
don't show they don't show the foundations here. And I guess, I mean, I find this clear enough as far as what needs to be done. So
Okay, that's
if
what
it's
it
these
is.
two drawings. Huh?
They fill in missing bricks with concrete? Or did they just cover
Painted,
it?
I
It's
guess.
everybody's house.
I don't know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Version
it's
of this.
patch.
Yeah, that's why I asked because
Yeah, there's-
it's a thing.
Even that stone wall in the back must be old, but they patched it up with.
Yeah, they just went
Really, and then try to
It's
figure
kind
out
of-
how
Okay,
to
you're not doing
over
anything
it
with the
with the
garage, right?
Yeah.
No, not yet, not yet. Just gonna maybe paint it or restore it.
But just for clarification, when you were talking about what you're doing with the foundation on the street facade, what's happening there? Is that right now the
No,
fiber
we're
goes
just
all
gonna
the way to
fix
the
it,
floor?
repair it. It's just like.
You're gonna
it's
expose it
rough
again?
on it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So right now the drawings don't reflect that.
It's the mortar's falling out.
Can you mark this for me, please? That would make me happy.
Huh?
Can you make a notation about the foundation?
Well, the only thing is that the foundation and the stone walls are a lot more extensive than we shown.
Look, the front facade, it goes all the way down to the ground. The siding
Actually,
goes all the way to the
there's a
ground.
new concrete slab that was poured
Okay.
there.
So what I understood you to be saying, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, is that you're bringing the siding will not come down as far and will expose the brick that's back there
No, I
once
don't
you
think
restore
there
it.
is.
You don't think there is? You think it's all
No,
foundation on the
it's
front?
grading, yeah.
Okay.
Ground, because they probably something that they.
Well, no, I mean, a portion of the foundation's exposed on this side, but not on
Well,
this
the
side.
other
That's
side,
right.
well, probably because, as Carolyn says, it's probably.
Well, no, it's also a slope.
It's sloping.
Yeah.
Houses.
Right, I mean, my feeling is that.
I misunderstood, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the documents that we're gonna need are, and you don't have to fix it, so, like, this document, with everything that you've noted, right, and these two, so, I'm gonna give you that, and you can take it to your architect and have him sort of correct things so that we have all the correct information.
So I have cut sheets for you.
Well, the cut sheets are part of
Oh, that other packet.
that.
Yes.
other
The photo packet.
Which I'm gonna hang on to,
Okay.
right, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
All right. So let us give you the folders back, so refill them with
The next,
with the next
round.
And we'll just hang on to the copy.
Okay.
And, you know, I think that since there is no public hearing, we should be able to vote on it next month. Okay.
Next month, that means.
Could we vote at it at our workshop if we announce it?
Right now, it is advertised as a workshop. We would have to advertise it as a voting meeting. And we would be able to do, today's what's the 14th, and we're meeting on the 28th. Yes, we would have 2 publication rounds if you wanted to do it as a voting session.
Okay.
Have we booked anyone for that workshop?
On this, they're asking if, rather than waiting until the October
So we can vote in 2 weeks rather than in the month.
October 12th meeting, if, when we're here for a workshop anyway on the 28th, we can convert that to a voting meeting so that
Oh,
they
okay,
can come back.
okay.
Okay?
Who do we have?
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
See you next
Okay.
time.
Okay, and do we need to do anything else in between? We don't do anything with Bill or the building permit until
Just
after
bring
the
that
next.
accurate,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
complete.
Okay.
Just talk to
Yeah,
you.
correct the drawings and bring them back in 2 weeks, and we'll
thank you.
And if you can't, if the drawing can't be done in 2 weeks, then we'll do it in a month.
Okay.
Or just let us know as soon as we're ready.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's fun, right?
Alright. Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting close.
This is
14. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you.
See if that's all.
They were up there before we came in.
okay.
I apologize, I let your colleague know, the woman I spoke with on the phone, that you were later on the agenda.
Oh,
And she must have passed that message along.
unfortunately,
that
she
you-
fell to the. Oh.
Sitting long, and which property are you?
We're just observing.
Oh, okay, welcome. Yeah,
Hi,
it's just
good evening.
stepped in.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Oh, here's the letter.
Yeah, let me give this back to you. And use it.
Thanks for dropping all this stuff off, Matt.
Yeah, there's 6 copies, 3 of them are kind of half size and the other 3 are larger.
There's a bar next door. Okay, so these are the previous packs, if you need them, I'll keep them over here, just so there's no stuff on the table, and this is the new stuff that got dropped off. Have you met Andrea?
I obviously have Matt and Andrea.
I'm Matt.
Hi, nice to
Hi,
see
thank
you.
you. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
I'm Ray. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Andrea.
Ray is the project architect, and Matt is the project manager.
Okay.
Okay, back up so we can fill
The perfect recovery, I think, summarizes
Okay.
changes that were made.
Yeah.
Wow, it's impressive how just changing that window on the first floor redirects your eye away from the asymmetry on the top.
Yeah.
You know, you sort of don't, your eyes don't even come over in
And I
this
think
area the
it's
same
the original
way.
HDRB set for that.
Is this the original?
Yeah, that's, you had wanted one.
For reference?
Yeah, for reference.
Okay.
I think that's, you had asked for the original HDRB set
Oh,
for
we
that
have it.
building, so
Oh.
I submitted that.
But we've got the original here.
Yeah.
So, let's go down each one. Window shifted in May to single door, 3rd floor southeast elevation. That is that door right there, right? Okay. Any questions or comments there?
I think now that the first floor has been modified, again, I think your eye doesn't even spend much time there. So Andrew, you were, because some folks were on vacation, just a quick, so the window, what would Ray tell you?
There was a window here,
Okay.
and basically it became a door.
Oh, so it moved?
Yeah.
Okay.
And since we're dealing with that elevation, why don't we also, all right. A and C, window now go on the 2nd. Okay, so let's deal with the southeast elevation. So the changes are, this became a door, moved over here. This was a window, it became a double door. And there are
Yeah,
Here's
it's the back.
The plan view. And a rendering. That's supposed to be done.
Further down. On this back. Keep
Oh,
going.
in here.
Yep, so that's what you have.
Cross section, what we're proposing.
Not Photoshop.
Why don't they take the windows out? Yeah. The weird windows are gone.
So you mean in the Photoshop? But, you know, if you get low enough, you don't see it, you know, because of the parapet.
Like I said, it's pretty close.
And then, the other thing, the last thing on that elevation is that originally there were 2 windows and then I think that objective needed 1 to begin with.
Right.
But this was supposed to be lined up and it wound up essentially here. And so the solution is to just brick it apart.
The other side,
It matches the
Yeah.
other side, which is also blank on that level.
Why was this window so far over in the first place?
There's a stairwell here,
Oh, it's your
so the platform's up here and it's falling down that way,
Mm.
so,
It's now there's a door to the stairwell.
yeah, and then, well, the door's just beyond the stairwell to access,
Right.
you know, outside, and then, you know, we realized that there, on this elevation, right around the corner, there was also a window in the stairwell, so we're providing a lot of light into the stairwell that maybe was better used as a, you know, access point to this upper level. Yeah.
All right. So what we're doing is we're looking at A, B, and C, the window shifting, the window to a door, and the basement window being filled in. Are there any questions?
no, I think it's an improvement.
I think it's a lot balanced.
Oh, no, I was just wondering, the lighting is, are we missing a sconce on the second floor, or is it only gonna be one
On the top floor, you mean?
on the top floor?
Well, I think there's only gonna be one, there's a single door up there, so we're just kind of lighting the.
But you got a double door, too.
Well, they've decided to, they've decided to, that one's not gonna be an active door, but, you know, for the tenant, so. So this is an active door on the main floor, and so we've got a sconce either side, and then we place a sconce next to the active door on the floor.
But you've got, on all the doors that are that size everywhere else, you've got a sconce on each side. On the northeast, on the lower level of the southeast, and there's another one on the,
On the
Well,
northwest,
also they're on either side of the window.
yeah, on the
They're not
northwest,
door.
they're on either side of the window, even though,
Actually, there's 2 doors there.
oh, yeah,
Well, that's-
yeah, skip the
yeah.
page. Oh, yeah, so they are, yeah.
yeah.
Just needs to be consistent.
Yeah, I think so. I think like on the northeast elevation, we have that single door off to the side. Obviously, that really only needs one light, and that kind of makes a little bit of sense.
We can do it. If the
Yeah.
door ever becomes active in the future, it's probably not a bad.
Also on
Yeah,
the northeast elevation, there's a, is that a sconce?
There are 2 additional sconces on the northeast that don't
So-
seem to, I don't understand
There's
why.
one, then there's the other one way over here,
Right.
why isn't it balanced out?
That's
There.
That's a different light fixture, it's actually,
That's per the photometric plan. We have street lighting.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
we have
that's-
pole mounted and then we have building mounted, and that's where the photometric plan is.
Because
Okay.
the buildings are so close together there.
Right.
Okay.
So on the whole, when we look at the whole site plan, whenever that was,
So.
we had a lighting plan then, but it
Can
is,
we-
This
yeah,
is more like-
Can we add a sconce right here?
yes.
For
sidewalk,
pedestrian.
like utilitarian thing.
Yeah. But it is strange the way it's,
I just, yeah, I can understand why it was way the heck over there.
but it wouldn't make any sense to have a second light right next to
Right
the
ne-
door
yeah.
lights. What if you were to, I don't know what this does to your photometrics, but for balance, if this one were to land here? Cause right now it's very strange, it looks like a mistake.
Yeah, they have it to where your thumb is, maybe off another certain distance. There's a freestanding pole,
Mhm.
and then equidistant from that is that fixture, and then equidistant from that is the other
So
one
where's the
fixture.
pole? Can you show me?
Yeah, it's both over here.
This is the
So,
pole here,
right,
and where's the
and
other one?
so pole, but on the building, and then, so it's, oh no, then on the other side, they're going to be on the Leahy Pavilion also. So there's no actual vertical poles in that corridor.
Okay, so have you redone the lighting plan? Because the Leahy plans haven't been submitted yet, right?
No, which we don't want to take up other people's time, but we're coming in, Ray's developing a look.
So would it be worth, just because this does end up very strangely balanced,
Mhm.
pulling these two out until you do that photometric plan with the changes?
Well, the photometric plan is the photometric from the beginning. That's the one that was part of the site plan approval, and that has them as shown at these locations, and like.
Oh, because you
on-
just didn't, but there weren't any changes anticipated for Leahy then, so you're gonna have to change the photometric plan anyway. It's not gonna be the same photometric plan that it was when you did site plan review.
The site plan had those new streetlights on the
But
Leahy.
it didn't have lights on Leahy. Oh, you mean
Yes, it did.
pole lights on Leahy, you don't mean building lights on
It had,
Leahy?
yeah, there are no pole lights, not on the site plan either.
I thought there were poles along the driveway.
There
along
is, yeah, when you come up the drive,
Uh-huh,
there are some shepherd's hooks.
that's what I'm
And then there's some other
remembering.
12-footers throughout the site,
Uh-huh,
but about half the lighting for the parking lot is on the buildings.
and so in that photometric plan that we looked at a year ago or whenever it was, that was anticipating new lights on Leahy that you were going to come in and request at another time because it wasn't part of the approvals
Well, you just
then.
hadn't seen it, right, you hadn't seen it.
So it would have come to us eventually.
We would like to discuss with you at some point, if we find for the other buildings and we have the room, maybe we could go from the building onto a pole, you know, if
That's why I'm asking about,
but the
wondering
reason-
if you wanna hold off on approving these until you see what changes happen based on what changes you're going to make as you go forward in your planning for Leahy, if Ray's just working on that plan, or whoever is, Ray's not the architect for that plan though,
Well,
right?
he is gonna bring together the facade, because there's a bunch of different people in that building, so we gotta make sure everybody's on the same page.
Okay, in the same way that you're working with multiple tenants here.
Yeah.
I don't know, that seems to make sense to me to hold
Yeah,
off
I
on these, cause they're very
definitely
strangely
agree.
placed.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
they're
going
big.
to open this building well before you're opening Leahy.
Yes.
So you're going to have some exterior lighting there, some
Right.
area lighting, not just near the doors.
The planning board's issue with the poles was, as you were saying, the space and the constraints between the building, the sidewalk, and then, so you would have had these luminaires like 3 feet off the face of the building, you know, these poles.
I remember that.
They didn't, you know. So, but, you know, we would like to revisit it, you know, as we look at the other buildings.
Yeah, we think the pole lighting is the better option, but it got on the site plan as a building mounted, and when we applied it to the building, you know, we ourselves questioned that, you know, that's not the best solution, let's put it back on a pole, but it was already on the approved site plan, so we would like to revisit that ourselves.
Well, especially, I mean, I don't know how many nighttime tenants you're gonna have. If this is gonna be medical offices, there probably aren't going to be, but in the wintertime, I mean, it's getting dark at
Yes.
4:30, right?
Yeah.
And this is a blast of light in these offices.
Yeah, and I think Matt and I both agree it kind of should be out on the poles. We would like to revisit that. It was just that the site plan was approved.
Right, so you're just going with what's on that plan?
Yeah, but we don't think it's the right
Yeah,
location for that.
on this building, you have the building, the sidewalk, and the pavement right away. So if you are gonna put it on a pole, it's essentially gonna be like 1 foot off the building, the pole, it's just, so.
It's gonna be obstructing the sidewalk,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you probably get more light inside, in the
Yeah, 'cause
windows,
they can put a
you know?
they can reflect it out.
Yeah.
So I realize that there's probably a minimum number that you have to meet that, but could you add more to balance it?
Are you talking about the southeast again?
On the north.
You're saying maybe add 2?
Or if we were gonna add, it might be appropriate to have a smaller like
Okay,
fixture.
all right, but let's finish the southeast elevation, because,
Okay.
you know,
Well, it was
otherwise-
Sean's question that drove that line of questioning about the
Yeah.
lights.
Oh, well, yeah, on the southeast, they're just gonna add 1 additional sconce,
Right,
right? That's fine.
okay.
So,
So,
I think-
for items A, B, and C, do I have a motion to approve the changes with the modification of adding a wall sconce on the southeast elevation?
And where are we adding it again? Just 1, okay.
Just one.
I still think that's strange, since all the doors of that size have to,
No, if you take a look at
go on the northeast.
opposite side.
Oh, all right.
It is true that they do have 2, but by
There-
adding,
There
well,
are 2 doors.
yeah. I think it makes more sense
Oh, no,
if
I
they
see
correspond
where
to
why the pattern would,
floor below it.
yeah, I got it.
Otherwise,
That's
we'd
fine
end
with
up
me.
with another asymmetrical.
Yeah, I don't know, that's fine, I get it. That makes sense.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve the changes with the modification of adding a wall sconce on the southeast elevation?
We're only talking about A, B, and C now.
A, B, and C.
That's,
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, A, B, and C. Got it. Now, D, on the northeast elevation. Okay, so that was the change from what was originally a single door with 2 windows, 2 doors with a single window in between. See, over here, there's 1 door, 2 windows, just changing it to 2 doors, 1. That and also the signage band. Originally, it was just supposed to be a signage band, which reflected the signage band here. But it was built as just a straight brick wall, so what we agreed on last time was to add a signage band in the brick.
Of equal dimensions to match.
Right. To bring that signage band into the back.
so it will just lay over the brick that's there, or you'll actually be taking brick off?
It'll be over the brick.
And how will that?
Because like on the one in the front,
Mhm.
we have brick, and then behind the signage band, we just transition to block and then go back to brick again, so it's really
It's an
all
even
masonry
plane
behind
behind,
it.
yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing is that originally, let's see if we have it. Yeah, this door, this was a steel door, it's being changed to a French door.
And that was the exit door out of the stairwell. So originally, we just had a utility door.
Okay, so these are all changes on the northeast elevation. And how do you want to handle the light fixtures as far as?
I would pull them out of the approval right now until they think about it a little bit.
Okay. All right, so.
How do you proceed, though, if the site plan has lighting on the building that matches that head? So what are our options?
Well, it's not a major change, right? You still have your substantial conformity. So,
Well, I guess the question is that if you were talking about revisiting, what is it that,
Well, here, the space constraints could be an issue. You know, maybe as you were starting to suggest, maybe there's a way to somehow balance it. Adding, or I could talk to the photometric consultant and see if this one could be moved over, you know, so that you have two.
well, it sounds like you also need to understand what's going on with entrances and pedestrian access at Leahy, right? Because you don't have that plan yet. So that may shift lighting on that building, right?
Right, but the way the photometric plan is done is to provide at least
Pools.
0.3-foot candles
Right.
throughout the site. So that's how the plan was generated.
I understand, but I'm saying that there may be factors in play on the Leahy design that will impact light candles
Mhm.
in this area, because it's right here.
see, for example, you know, I'm sure that there's a certain amount of illumination that you get from each of these light fixtures. Well, if you get a similar light fixture, but you delamp it to something a little bit less, you may be able to get the same illumination at the sidewalk level
Mhm.
by essentially cutting the spacing. But I think that the point that Kathleen's raising, I think, is probably more pertinent, because realistically, you're talking about essentially a parking lot in the corridor between two buildings. And so if you're still looking at the Leahy Pavilion and changes there as far as entrances and stuff like that, you may want to, you know, just look at that as a whole rather than, you know, individual little pieces now, and then later on you say, oh, well, now we got to move it.
Mhm.
So I would suggest, you know, take a look at that before, you know, because we'll be more than happy to meet with you and go over this stuff. But I think through what's happening between the two buildings, because that's,
Mhm.
Well, we're gonna be seeing you for that building anyway, so we
Yes.
can talk about it then.
I don't think in this particular corridor, poles are an option. So that's why I'm just saying we'll have to look at, you know, maybe the spacing of the light on the other building allows us to pull this one over or something like that, so.
yeah, I think, you know, what you need to do, because if I remember correctly, on the existing building, isn't there an entrance that faces this?
No, it was the.
Well, I know there was one in the corner,
Yes.
but I thought.
There is
there
a
was
side,
There is.
side entrance, but it almost comes over here.
Yeah, the main entrance
Because
is
you
gonna
can see it
continue
from
to be
Chet Center.
the side. Yeah,
Okay.
the existing Leahy.
Say that again?
How about for
the
the-
what?
The existing Leahy
Yeah.
entrance for what will be the county space they're still gonna continue to use that as their primary entrance.
Okay, but how about the senior citizen?
That's what you
That
meant,
is the
right?
county.
That is the county, yeah.
Okay, but.
And then the post office is gonna, they want to have their access from the back. No, the back is actually very flat.
Back is here.
Yeah.
this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a steep grade.
There was
No.
a steep grade, there ain't gonna be a steep grade there
Okay.
anymore.
It's flat.
No more.
No.
It's gone.
It's flat.
Okay.
It's gone.
It's actually very flat parking.
So we could study this out to see if we can.
Okay.
I think there was a literal translation of site lighting being attached to the building, and it just went, okay, there's a light here, we'll put it on the building there, and it needs to be thought through a little
That's
bit.
what we need the architect for.
By the way, does
So-
it need to be at that first level band, or could it be higher? I mean, when I think of a street light, I think of a street light as being much higher than,
Yeah,
you know, at
the
first floor.
they had the shepherd's hooks at, I think it was 16 or 20 feet as you come up.
Mhm.
They wanted to reduce the number of them, so they made them kind of taller and bigger.
Mhm.
Then, as far as walking through, they wanted something that wouldn't look like, I think the term they used was a 7-Eleven parking lot or something like that. So the poles are about 12 feet tall.
Okay.
And so the photometrics are all based upon a 12-foot above grade,
Yeah.
which is.
Which is a
you know,
smaller pool then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, so to answer your question, putting it up higher, again, the photometrics were all done based upon,
Yeah.
you know, about 12 feet above the pavement, so.
Yeah, I think let's.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'll mark this as being to be resubmitted. To be submitted at the later point. Okay, so now, do I have a motion for D, E, and F with two street luminaires removed from the application?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and, you know, we don't wanna take up other people's time, but just, we're putting together stuff for Leahy, and we'll be in to see you. We're gonna
Okay.
take the counties and the post office and see if we can.
When do you think that would be?
Well, it'll be soon. I guess the thing we wanted to bring up was the whole process has been interactive so far, give and take. So we were wondering, did you have any thoughts on the Leahy? You know, like, did you ever think, gee, don't change it too much, or, you know, it needs something? Or is there some thoughts that you could give us that would kind of guide us into what you think is going to be appropriate?
You might get different answers from everybody.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, my thought is that it is what it is. It's an 80s, it's a very simple 80s
Mhm.
building, and the architect who designed that building pulled elements from the hospital building. He pulled that band of brick, right? It has very simple, clean windows.
What really frightens me about the Leahy building is all that leaching on the side of it because the roof drains weren't.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
right, that's
fix
all
the
gonna be
roof
redone.
problem.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, we're gonna redo the
But I mean,
coping and the windows.
it sort of, it ended up, because it was, you know, because we didn't talk about it before, it sort of got thought about as the building at the center that we're moving around.
Mhm.
So I don't know how much you would want to guess
Were
it
there
out.
any changes to the northwest?
No.
No, okay, fine.
Let it be what it is, I think.
Okay, and we're gonna have a workshop session on the 20th,
We have a workshop and a voting session on the 28th.
so if you guys wanna come in and discuss some ideas on the 28th,
Let us know when you're ready.
And the other,
Okay.
and the other thing is, we have a permit for building 3, and I think based upon a couple of road bumps we had with building 2, maybe we should come in with the approved building department set,
That's a great idea.
okay, and just all take a look. Okay.
That would be super. Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Bye.
So
Do
building
you
three is the
want to
next
be
one?
on,
Then after
you want to
later?
be on that
No, I
agenda?
think Matt would probably get in touch with you because we're gonna go back and forth.
Okay, so send me an email if you're ready for the 28th.
Yes.
And if not, the next session is the 12th of October.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, here's the other cover sheet. Here, you want me to put it back in, so it's out of the way?
Well, no, because I gotta
Oh, you
process.
have to process it.
Okay.
Now it's Garden Street.
Okay.
Oh, here's this is part of the box, sorry. I don't know why they put those.
Okay.
So,
You want done?
Done.
yes, we got
So, you
that.
done?
How are you?
There's a pack in there, I think there are 5 packs that got sent detailing the windows, and the gentleman who brought a window sample as well. I'm Kathleen Foley.
Hello. Harold Wilson.
I have.
Okay.
Hi. Alice Galinsky.
Alice Galinsky.
Pleasure.
Carolyn Basham.
Hi, Carol.
Sean?
Sean, how are you?
I think you and I were emailing it. Okay.
It's in three copies.
So,
Which is
apologize
what-
for having ours available.
Oh, cool. Got it all in. As long as she sent the images, I think she talked her on the phone and there was a FedEx, clerk's office.
So why don't you tell us what it is that you're proposing?
Okay, this is done as a duplex on Garden Street that she wanted to replace, not all at this time, some of the windows.
Like the electrical windows on the front page.
So do you have image of the, oh, here we go, at the back. An image indicating which windows, so we can walk through it?
Unfortunately, it's in the front, it's not the bottom at this particular point in time. She wants to replace those down the road, but the top windows are being replaced. And just on the left side, it's a duplex. She owns both, but it's.
Okay, so did we not get an image of the full? Oh, here it is. I just didn't go back far enough. Ah, okay. Okay, so can you say that again now that I have?
All right, number 20 is this side, that's number 18, it's going to be the top windows.
1, 2, 3?
I don't believe we did the front, no, the top, no, I don't believe we did. I can't remember now. But,
Wait, we did or are going to?
No, not now, but she's going to eventually be replacing all the windows in the house, but right now.
So what's the approval that you're seeking?
Pardon?
So are you seeking to approve all of them now? Because you can do that.
Pardon? Yeah, I guess we could, because she'd like to.
Well, the kitchen's on the first floor too, right?
So,
That's around the corner.
may I just, my conversation when this is done
Mhm.
was, what I understood from the conversation before the
Eventually, she
telephone
wants to
was that
replace
she
all of
wanted
them.
to do all of the
All of them,
windows.
eventually, yes.
Right, and so I told her that we can approve all of the windows and then she can have the approval
Okay.
to replace.
Okay.
So I think that's what she anticipates.
Right, exactly, okay, I wasn't
Okay.
sure, okay. Mhm. So well, let's look at replacing all of them, but down at least
Okay,
altogether.
so let's talk about the windows.
So let's look at them all.
Well, I guess the question is what you're proposing are vinyl windows, right?
Yes, and she has, at the present time, she has a number of them.
Local.
I have an actual window with me.
So your little one is 24, right? Or- I mean,
Yeah, my old
26.
house was
Yeah.
12.
Oh, 12.
Yes, this is down
This
towards.
is toward the other end.
This is across from Chris Daly,
Okay.
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
midpoint.
I recognize the house, I'm just having a hard time placing it on the street.
Mhm.
So are you proposing the same, are you proposing different windows for the openings? Talk us through what you're.
No, we're going to, as far as.
Well, as far, I mean, it's.
We're going to do like with like.
Because you've got windows that are two different sizes here. So what are you proposing for each
Okay.
place?
Everything as far as, this one, we didn't really get into. This is right now, it's a vinyl casement that doesn't, I'd like to try to convince her to go to a double hung.
It's a slider, right?
Yeah, no, it's a.
Basement.
Oh, this way.
We're replacing like for like, essentially,
Right
in
now,
terms of
it's-
size. We're not making the openings any bigger or any smaller.
So are you, this is a
So
different
this
window
is-
though.
That's-
Right, this one we're not currently proposing to replace. This has already been replaced. This is a newer window.
I'm not trying to be a
Whether
lunkhead.
she's going to.
Lunkhead.
I apologize, whether I think she's going to want to replace that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She's going to want to replace that down the road, yes. So let's look at replacing them all.
Okay, so if you're looking at replacing them all, I'm asking
Okay.
what the proposal is, because this is a different size opening than these.
And it's going to stay the same, it's not, the opening is not going to
The
change.
opening's not going to.
So when she gets around to replacing this, it will
It's
be
going to be
the
the same
same
size.
size.
Same, exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, so tell us about the window.
All right. It is a Simonton product. Simonton's been around since 1946, and virtually every year it has been rated as the #1 window in the United States by Consumer Reports and also J.D. Powers. I personally have a house built in 1716, live in Brewster. I have a cottage on the property. This is the exact same window I put in my cottage. It's architecturally correct. I brought a sample so you can see what it looks like. You know, I hate pictures that won't make everything look great, don't they? So I want to bring an actual window with me to show you. It's pretty cut and dry. It's a replacement. We're not doing new construction on this, so we're not going to be cutting into the side and doing anything else on the house.
So you do have a slider here in your packet.
You have one sliding window, yeah.
Is that the same dimension?
It's the same dimension as what's existing.
What we're trying to get at is whether openings need to be changed.
No.
Yes.
Okay, and
No.
trim, just trim.
100% through whether we're doing it now or down the road.
All the openings.
All the openings.
And all the existing windows are 1/1?
Correct, yeah, that's
Mhm.
what it
Mhm.
is. Right.
This one is ganged 2/2s? I mean 1/1s? Or it's also a casement? Or I think maybe we're looking at them with the shades behind.
Yeah, I think that's the blinds, the window's halfway up, it looks
Mhm.
like.
Uh-huh.
And I think the shade is,
Mhm. Yeah, they didn't have any bridge.
Is this shutter
Now, those two
shorter?
casements on the front are
Yeah.
kind of the only windows like that on the house that I could see.
Mhm. And I took pictures on the back, the sides, and also.
Yeah, I just didn't tell
It's
it
like-
if
it's like
it
a-
was
it's
an
like a
indication,
flush.
The back is not.
if it was an
There's two
indication
ganged
of like a
over.
double
Yeah,
hung
right.
window,
Mhm.
I'm trying to answer that question, like,
These are ganged.
if the shutters are different or is it?
I think it's an optical
Shuttering.
delusion.
And then, and
It is, it's
these,
shorter.
yeah.
Okay, so.
Oh, strange. Fix that while you're there.
Please. See,
So-
this is double hung though.
Right.
Mhm.
So this one is
So
the only
that's not,
Right,
casement.
so
okay, so
we're-
there's only
so we're-
one casement and we
In a
confirmed
whole
this
house.
is double
Everything,
hung.
right.
Exactly.
And this is a ganged double.
Yeah, oh,
Right.
And what about, go ahead, Al.
What's the siding?
Vinyl.
There's an old house under there somewhere.
Isn't it?
What's happened, this is the back side. We don't look at anything that isn't in the public right of way.
Okay.
What's going on back here? Same,
Same.
okay? And what about this side?
It's the same, it's
Missing a
it's a
picture?
duplex, in other words. One is number
Oh, it's
20,
not
the
so far.
other is number 18.
Yeah, I think this is,
No windows on the front half of that street.
isn't it?
They must have
Must
covered
have
them over,
covered over them.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can dig through that
Don't you
siding.
love taking those
Find
siding
out.
and finding doors underneath?
Maybe someday someone will.